How to connect your USB audio interface to your iPhone. Now, many of you out there are probably used to using your laptop or using your computer at home when you want to record music or you want to record a high quality podcast. Well, what if I told you that in today's video, I'm going to give you a tutorial on how you can get the most out of your Scarlet 2x2 4th generation interface or something like the lowly Presonus audio box USB interface just by plugging these things into your iPhone and still being able to use something like the Shure SM7B and phantom power devices such as the Cloud Lifter. All that's going to be covered in today's video. My name is Chris Green. My entire channel exists to give you practical tips and advice when it comes to music production. I hope you'll consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons. Now let's jump into the tutorial. Now, the phone I'm using in today's video is an iPhone 12. It's running iOS version 18.5. There are certainly newer models of the iPhone out there. The only differences will really come down to the connection that you're using. I'll be sure to indicate if there's any sort of cable that I'm plugging in. I will tell you if that is a Lightning connection or if it is a USB-C connection. I'll put an image up on screen so you can see the differences. It definitely does matter. So if you need a USB-C connection, if you're purchasing a cable, make sure you get the one that fits with your phone. Now, my wife is using an iPhone 11, and I can tell you that the iPhone 11, all of this process stuff should work as well. If you have a Lightning connection, that's kind of the bare minimum for moving forward. So make sure you got your iPhone ready. The other thing is you want to navigate to your app store within the iPhone, and you want to search for the app that is called GarageBand. Now, there are certainly other apps out there that are going to be able to record audio, but GarageBand is by far the most popular and the most common. It's made by Apple, and it usually comes standard with most iPads and iPhones. If you want to use any other audio recorders out there as well, you're welcome to do so. In today's video, I'm just going to show you how to get up and running with GarageBand using it as your multi-track recorder. One of the biggest challenges when it comes to mobile recording is making sure that your devices have plenty of power. Now, you can certainly just run a really long extension cable if you want to. I would recommend that you invest in something like a Blackline Audio portable power conditioner. This one has served me very well over the years. I can toss it in my backpack. It does very much the job that like a Furman rack mount power conditioner would do. I've got 6 outlets here that I can make use of. And again, it fits nice and easy in my backpack whenever I need it. So if you have an iPad or an iPhone that is using the Lightning port, my biggest recommendation to you is that you get one of these Lightning to USB 3 adapters. This one is specifically from Apple. Anytime you're getting an adapter, if you can swing getting the official Apple version, you'll be better off for it. A lot of some of the knockoff brands that you find on Amazon, they're not super reliable when it comes to a long-term use, especially if you're doing something like a big project, like a podcast or a video for someone else. Make sure you get the official license supported one from Apple. This is a Lightning adapter on one end. On the other end, we have a Lightning port and we have a traditional USB port on the other end. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna plug this into my iPhone. And the first thing I want to do is actually power my iPhone. So I want to have a dedicated cable so that it is getting the juice that it needs. I'll try to link as many of these products in the description as possible. You definitely don't have to use the same ones. Here's a cable from Anchor that we've been using for quite some time. It's a pretty long cable, but it has a Lightning port at one end and then your traditional USB at the other. I'm going to take the Lightning end, plug it into this adapter from Apple. And the other end is going to be going to my power conditioner. You can use different blocks. If you want to use the 5-watt power supply, that's totally fine. I've actually found that this one is meant for mostly the iPads, but in this situation, I'm going to use this 12-watt power supply from Apple. I'll plug this into the other end of my Anchor cable, and then that goes to the power conditioner. Now, I'm actually going to start things off with the Presonus Audio Box 96. This is a USB audio interface. All intents and purposes, this is the most standard version of any audio interface you're going to get. If I can get things working with this Presonus Audio Box, then you know something newer will do just as great. So we'll cover the Focusrite Scarlet in just a few minutes. With the Presonus Audio Box, it's using what's called a USB Type A port. This is basically like the printer cables that you may be used to seeing. So we need to make sure we get the cable that we need for that. Here I've got just a standard USB cable. I've noticed this a lot, that people in the comments of some of my videos, if you've got an audio box and something's not working for you, try swapping out the cable because these older USB cables are not all created equally. Here is my standard USB cable. I'm gonna take one end, plug it into the Lightning adapter. And the other end is going into this Presonus audio box. If you've done everything correctly, you should notice you've got LED lights coming on. You've got one for 48-volt phantom power, which is always a good sign. That means I'm going to be able to juice my SM7B. So let's go ahead and get my microphone plugged in. You don't have to use the Shure SM7B, but this is one of the most power-hungry microphones out there. So the microphone cable for my SM7B, it could go straight into input 1 of my audio interface. However, I've got it plugged into this cloud lifter. The cloud lifter is a device that's essentially going to give you more volume for your signal. It does require phantom power, so if you don't have phantom power or you're nervous about that, you can certainly just leave this step out of your process. I'm going to take my microphone cable. It's going to run into channel 1. I'm going to turn up channel 1's gain volume a little above 50%. I'm going to have the mixer knob at about halfway. And now the fun part, we can open up GarageBand. When you have GarageBand open, it's up to you. You don't have to have it to send notifications. I don't see that as being a necessary step. You want to swipe over until you see audio recorder. I'm going to select audio recorder. It will ask for access to my microphone. I want to say allow. When you have audio recorder open, you can see on the left side of the screen, if I tap this SM7B here, we are getting a healthy signal. It says tap the record button above to start recording using an external USB audio interface. All right, so on the left side of the screen, this is a gain readout of what's coming into your audio interface. So you want to make sure you adjust the gain knob here. I've got input 1 selected. If I turn this up too loud, you can see that I'm constantly clipping as I'm speaking into the SM7B. I need to back this thing off so that I'm hovering within that little bubble area that they have. Now, if you're recording on a different channel, you want to select this 1 at the bottom left. When I tap that, it's going to ask me what sort of input do I want to select. Am I plugged into channel 2 or am I doing a stereo recording? A stereo recording is going to be mainly for like if you're recording a keyboard or a guitar effects pedal that is running stereo into your audio interface. I wouldn't recommend this method for those of you that are doing a podcast with more than one microphone. GarageBand does allow you to have multi-track recording. So at the top right of the screen, you have this gear icon for settings. Simply open up your settings. You want to scroll down to advanced, and then you have a switch for multi-track recording. You also have a switch for 24-bit audio resolution. I highly recommend that you have that enabled because most likely that is going to match the settings that your audio interface is used to running. Okay, then also have run on the background ready and click done. If you don't want to be looking at this screen, you have several effects and presets that can add to your voice. I certainly just want to record direct into the iPhone. I don't want a bunch of processing on my iPhone. I can do that later on my laptop. At the top left, you have different little burger stack icons. You can simply just click one of these up here, and it will give you that traditional digital audio workstation view where we can see we have a microphone here. I've got a metronome that can turn off and on. Let's go ahead and plug in some headphones. So here on the screen, if it doesn't look exactly like I've got, you can swipe this section over here so you can see more of a readout. This looks very similar to like if you're using Logic or any sort of DAW out there. At the top, you have your metronome icon. You can turn that off if you don't need a metronome. If you're recording a podcast, you probably don't need that whatsoever. But if I hit the record button, hey everyone, my name is Chris Green and I'm testing out the Shure SM7B running into my Presonus audio box and then into my iPhone. Have a great day. Hit stop. I'm going to go back to my DAW view. And as you can see, we have some nice clean audio. I'm going to hit this icon here. So not listening to what I'm saying. I'm listening to just what the iPhone has. Hey everyone, my name is Chris Green and I'm testing out the Shure SM7B running into my Presonus audio box and then into my iPhone. Have a great day. Now, the Scarlet 2i2 4th generation is a slight different setup than you would get with something like the USB audio interface from Presonus, so let's jump into that. Now, whenever you're using the Scarlet 2i2 4th generation, you need to know that your iPhone is not capable of powering this device, even if it's plugged into a power source. That's why they created a second USB-C slot on the back of the Scarlet interface. So I've got this USB-C connection here. I'm going to plug this one into the 5-volt DC slot on the back of my Scarlet interface. And then this cable is running to a traditional USB cable that's going into a 5-watt power brick. Again, this is one that comes with your phone usually. Now, what that's going to do is strictly give us power to our audio interface. That way, our iPhone is not responsible for powering the Scarlet interface. The Scarlet's getting what it needs, and then the other port is dedicated for audio. Now, different than the audio box we just used, the Scarlet 2i2 4th generation uses a USB-C cable. So on the back where it says USB, we want to plug in the USB-C slot, and then you need the other end of your USB-C cable to have this standard USB connection, and that is going to plug into our Lightning camera adapter. I'm going to bring my SM7B over, and we need to make sure that we've got it plugged in. So again, I've got it going into the cloud lifter. I'm going to take the cloud lifter and plug this into channel 1. And on the front panel of my Scarlet audio interface, I can make sure I have direct monitoring on. I want to make sure I've selected channel 1. Channel 1, I'm going to hit the 48 volt button on the front of the device. And then with channel 1 selected, I can use the channel 1 knob to make sure that I'm getting the appropriate level of gain. Test 1, 2. You can see there right on the front of the audio interface, I'm getting way too much of a signal, so I need to back that off. Test 1, 2. Just to where I'm getting test 1, 2. Test, test, test. I'm staying in the green. That is a nice healthy signal. I'll go ahead and put my headphones on. Now, if you have direct monitoring enabled on your Scarlet audio interface, you do not need to be using the software monitoring that's on your iPhone. Otherwise, you're going to be hearing double. I can simply go up here to the top. I can just click the record button. Hey everyone, this is Chris Green now speaking into the Focusrite Scarlet 2i2 audio interface using the Shure SM7B. All right, and if I click the stack at the top left again, I can scroll over here to where we've recorded the Focusrite. I can hit play. This is Chris Green now speaking into the Focusrite Scarlet 2i2 audio interface using the Shure SM7B. Those of you out there that have a USB-C slot, it's going to be a relatively similar process as far as the software is concerned. You, of course, will not need this camera adapter. You will have a USB-C slot on your iPhone. You'll just need a USB-C to USB-C cable to go from your Scarlet audio interface on the USB slot straight to your iPhone. Now, since you made it to this portion of the video, it tells me you're really interested in recording in general. So I hope you'll consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons for more videos here on my channel. If you're looking for a tutorial on how to start recording your first song from beginning to end, anything having to do with music production or within a home studio, that's what my channel is all about, here to help you along the way. So I hope you'll consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons. Check out more videos here on my channel, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye.